Welcome. I see Mumsy is in the house. Glad to see you here. How's the sound? Because I did a live stream earlier, just a short one with an update, and it had that, when I played it back, it had that underwater sound again. So please let me know if I need to, if I'm too loud, I can move the microphone away a little bit. But, well, tonight is talking about Cambodia. Every Wednesday night, we talk about Cambodia. And of course, the border conflict is on everybody's mind. It is not being called a war. It's being called a conflict. And it is ongoing, seems to be escalating. I'm fine. Okay, great. Thank you so much for letting me know that. Because I want the sound to be as good as it can be. All right. So, yeah, I already kind of gave some of those updates. In case you missed that, I will say that there's some temples that have been fired upon, including the Priya Vihaar Temple, which is a huge, it's UNESCO. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And then also Ta Grabai. Ta Grabai was also attacked. What do you call when you like launch missiles at something? Is it do we use bombed? Do we say it's bombed if it's missiles? Yeah, I think so. So they bombed the temple. And there is footage out there from Thailand as they were doing it. You can see the explosion. There's photographs of what it looks like because Thailand has taken that part of ground. And so they've taken pictures of the temple and they're putting them out. And I can show you that real quick. This is what the temple looked like before. And you can see all the way up. It's intact all the way up to the top. And this top section is what, that's when they were bombing it. And that's what it looks like now. And they're proud of it. From what I understand, Thailand is saying it's no problem because we know how to rebuild it. We can just build it again. I don't know where their logic is. That's so illogical. But yeah. And then this is a picture of them bombing the Priya Vihaar Temple, which is the UNESCO World Heritage Site. So, yeah, not good. The Ministry of National Defense issued at 4:30 this evening. It's now 9 p.m. in Cambodia. So I'm thinking 3. Oh, because military time. 9 is what in military time? 20? No, I don't know. I'm not doing the math. Okay, a few hours ago, they reported that at 3:45, that a primary school was attacked in Banteay Meanchey province, and so this is expanding. Now it's 5 provinces. Yesterday it was 4 provinces. Now it's 5 provinces. And they're also still using drones in Prasat province. And here's a chart of people who have been displaced. Over 100,000 people Now they list Odar Menche, Priya Vihir, Bante Menche, Pursat, and Siem Reap province have displaced people. But then it notes that the refugees are from Odar Menche, Priya Vihir, and Bante Menche. And then the death toll is still at 7 as of the time they issued this. 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday is when this chart was made. So this is yesterday. There may be a couple more civilian deaths. Not sure. Yeah, it can never be repaired. You're right, Mumsy. 21. Oh, 2100 is, okay, so 16, 4, 5. So 5 hours ago. Thank you, Mumsy. How's Frugal? He's fine. He went to Angkor Wat for the first time and was really wowed by it. So you can check out his video. In the description below is Frugal's thing. Rang Sirun. I hope Cambodia does not fall again. I pray for Cambodia. Thank you. Yeah, me too. And Andy's in the house as well. On the way to Reading. Oh, so you're listening as you're on your way to Reading. Well, I'm glad that you're able to join. So, is it safe? Along the border, the answer would be no. But in Phnom Penh and in the rest of Cambodia, myself and anybody that I've seen, we're not worried at all about anything happening here. It's not like they're trying to take over the whole country. They just want the border, right? So it appears, at least, that the fighting will be limited to the border. I do kind of feel like it might not be over as quick as it was in July. In July, it was only 5 days of fighting. I kind of feel like everybody's more invested this time. The Malaysian Prime Minister and Donald Trump are both making phone calls to the Thai Prime Minister and the Cambodian Prime Minister to try and see if they can get things to de-escalate. No word yet on any of that. That would be great. That would be great if everybody could stand down. But it doesn't look like that's what's going to happen. I did ask a friend of mine. Let me see if he's replied. No, not yet. A friend of mine who's in the military. Am I being naive, or is they wouldn't dare send their fighter jets over Phnom Penh to drop bombs on Phnom Penh, right? That's how I feel. And I don't think I'm being naive about that. I think everything is going to stay at the border, but there's casualties on both sides. It's not a good situation. And as long as you stay away from the border, though, everything should be fine. They're bombing Priya Vihir and all these other minor temples. Are they going to bomb Angkor Wat? Say, well, if UNESCO is going to say that Angkor Wat belongs to Cambodia, well, we're just going to destroy that and we can rebuild it later. I don't think so. I hope they're not that stupid, because that would be really stupid. That would be really, really stupid. Because I think then there would be a lot of international outcry if they tried to do something like that. And hopefully they're smart enough not to do that. But I don't know, there's a lot of bad decisions being made, I think, on the Thai side. And of course, they're blaming Cambodia. They're saying that Cambodia started everything. Hey, traveling fools in the house. Yo, yo, yo. But no, I don't think Thailand wants to take over all of Cambodia. I don't think that's their intention. Um, but prayers are definitely welcome. Run, um, Reng Si Room, Reng Si Run. Um, Definitely pray for Cambodia. Um, well, and you know what, and pray for innocent Thai people too. You know, I don't know about the military, the Thai military, but there's a lot of innocent Thai people. Okay, that they don't want to die and they don't want to be displaced. Um, so pray for, yeah, pray for peace. So what's a piep? No, wait, that's safety. Pray for safety too. But Santa Piep, Santa Piep is peace. Uh, and Cambodia has fought long and hard to achieve the peace that it has right now. And, they're going to fight to defend it. And but so I believe it's safe. Like, you don't need to cancel flights. If you live in Cambodia, I don't believe you have to like get the next flight out. I think it's safe to be here. That's my opinion. Um, there's no need to worry unless you're on the border. You don't want to be by the border. One of my students today told me that he has 6 members of his family, extended family, that serve in the military, that are fighting, and that in July one of his uncles died during that fighting, and then yesterday or the day before, another uncle died. So he's lost 2 uncles already. Chalet is in the house. Good morning, all here, listening but multitasking. All right. Appreciate you listening. So I don't have to only talk about the conflict going on. I'm happy to talk about anything else. The sound is great. Oh, that's so good. Because I was checking the monitor, I was checking it to see, because you guys said last night it was. So I was checking, is everything the same, or did it go to some kind of default? Because the one that I did earlier, I just figured I made my settings and everything should be the same. But then when I listened to it, it did have that whole underwater sound and everything, and kind of like it was too loud. Not that the sound was too loud, but that the microphone, the feed into the microphone was too loud, and so you get that like when it anyway. I guess maxes out would be the term. Yeah, I was very disappointed when I listened back to it. I'm like, what? I thought I had the whole microphone thing fixed. So then before this live, I'm like checking everything. It's like, is the microphone too close or too far away, and this and that, trying to get everything all right. But otherwise, life here in Cambodia is just going on like normal. You're an audio nerd. Well, if you have an old microphone, that you went and got a better microphone, but this is what I have. It's like this. Actually, I do have a good microphone that has like the regular plugs. It has like a big plug. And I got an adapter for it so that it would fit in like the little tiny round hole plugs. And but this particular desktop doesn't have input. It only has output. So you could put speakers on, headphones on, and it has output. But if you like have headphones with a microphone, or like, that other microphone that I have, If you plug it in, there's no input. It doesn't do both. It only does output. It's like, what? So I have to have a USB microphone. So StreamYard settings can default and change randomly. Yeah. I'm actually in Streamlab, I think, instead of StreamYard, but yeah, it's all the same kind of thing, right? But it's great now. Okay, good. You have tons of microphones, but Cambodia is kind of far away at the moment. Yes, I know. But my mom sends boxes every now and then. So if it's not too heavy, you could just send it to my mom in California. And then the next time she sends a box, she can toss it in. But it has to be USB, which you probably don't have, because who does that? Smooth as butter? Ooh, good. Gibbo is in the house. Sounds much better. Excellent. Excellent. I'm glad I'm getting feedback about that. So last weekend, I think I did mention it maybe at the beginning of Crosswords, which was I did on Monday, because Sunday I went and sold sandwiches and hot dogs at what is called Phnom Penh's Walk Street. And let me see here. Phnom Penh Walk Street. So this is like the whole thing. It's like really big images. And so I set up a table. See, it could be like really crowded like this. It wasn't that crowded. But here you can see there's booths that's set up selling stuff. And I didn't have an actual booth, but I just brought a table and set it up and sold sandwiches and hot dogs. And I do sound clear. Oh, okay, great. Well, that's good. I'm so happy. Yeah, so I did that. How did I get on? So I sold about close to $30, which isn't a lot, but it was like a test kind of thing too. So now that I've gone out there and I've set up the table and I knew what I needed to do, so I just made all the sandwiches custom, because I didn't want to spend time in the morning or whatever making all the sandwiches and then bringing them. And so I just made each one to order. And so what I did is I got little plastic hand cover glove things, little plastic, just the disposable kind. And so I'd have to put them on each time I made a sandwich, because it wasn't a constant flow. I might sell one or two things, and then 30 minutes later sell another couple of things, so I have to take them off and then put new ones back on. And so I think I need to go ahead and not be lazy and make the sandwiches first and bring ready-made sandwiches. But then the other thing was, oh my gosh, I was just so sore. I was so sore. And you can't leave the table. From 3, I set up at 3:00 and I couldn't leave until 9. And as I had nobody there. Wait. Oh, there's Frugal. I was just telling them that you visited Angkor Wat for the first time. Oh, the double Dutch bus. Uh-oh. People might think I'm a lady boy, Gibbo says. Hot dogs, get your hot dogs. I know, huh? I didn't do that. I should do that. Maybe I'll sell more. And let's Marvin Gaye and get a hot dog. You're turning up the volume, but you do have to hop in the shower. Be right back. Okay. So as much as I would love to have somebody like Chani, you know, be there with me to sell everything, I think I'm going to just have to do it by myself again, but I'm better prepared. I'll be better prepared. Frugal says a camera and some microphones of mine are heading to the front line in the morning. Oh my gosh. A friend has gotten permission from the government to be there filming the area. Oh my goodness. Okay. Everybody pray for Frugal, you know, and you're in the morning. So like 12 hours from now, wherever you are, 12 hours from now, pray for Frugal. And when I was talking about being safe, I was like, yeah, if you're in Siem Reap, you're in Phnom Penh, you're in the rest of the country, you're fine. There's nobody's worried. And I really don't believe that Thailand wants to take over all of Cambodia. They just want the border area. Yeah, Angkor Wat was amazing, huh? Oh, you're not going. Your friends are going. Oh, your gear is going. Got it. You're letting them use the gear to go. Yeah, that's smart. I'm glad to hear that. I think Mumsy was asking about you earlier, and I told her that you went to Angkor Wat. And even Mumsy says Angkor Wat was amazing. Now, Mumsy didn't have to walk from the front like you did, and like I did the first time. And so I knew how exhausting that is, you know, and I don't know if it helps having those wooden steps, kind of like where there's a doorway and like a lintel. I think lintel is the top, right? But the bottom would have has stone that you have to step up and step over constantly throughout. And I remember you saying, "Oh, it's a lot farther away than I thought than it looked." I'm like, "Yeah." So when I took my mom, I'd already figured out that there's a back entrance, and it takes you right to where the 5-pillared. I know if you're just looking at it straight on, it looks like there's 3, but there's actually 4 corners and then the high one in the middle. So it's actually 5. Pinnacles. Aurora says she's never coming here again. You're relieved. Frugal. Your friend is taking you to Angkor is also taking you to Battambang at the end of the month to meet her family. Well, how nice. That's awesome. But yeah, so you're right there at that main Angkor Wat, and so you can drive or ride your bicycle right up to that back, and it makes it a lot easier. And yeah, and I think that's when I went up the steps to the top, because they had those metal steps or wooden steps, whatever, that go up. Because the first time I went, it was like the part where you saw them that don't have stairs built on top of the stairs, just the original stone stairs, and they are so narrow and so steep. It was like, no, I'm not doing that. She said so Aurora's mad that I didn't give her free hot dogs. Oh, there's Aurora. Stop lying, Frank. Yeah, so I'm going to make tuna sandwiches and ham sandwiches. I don't want to deal with chicken yet. I can add that later, but I don't want to deal with chicken. So I'll make little, like on dinner roll size sliders, ham sandwiches, and the tuna. Yeah. And then I'll have the hot dogs and the croissant. The croissant sandwiches are the California sandwich with avocado and bacon. So I'll go ahead and I'll fry the bacon in advance, because it was really hard to deal with the bacon at the same time. You would not have gone up the stone by itself. Yeah. But there were people that did, back in the day, but I didn't. Yeah, and the hot dogs, there's chili cheese dogs, and then the standard original American hot dog that has mustard and ketchup and onions and pickle relish. It's $1.50 and $2.50. Chili cheese is $2.50. The original is $1.50, and the little sliders are $1.25. But the croissant sandwiches are $5. And I actually sold like at least 2, maybe 3 of the croissant sandwiches at $5. So I was happy about that. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it again, and hopefully I'll my target is $100, is to make at least $100. So we'll see. Frugal's going back to Angkor Wat tomorrow to explore more. Your injury from last year flared up a bit. Oh, because of all the climbing. Yeah. I hear ya. Yeah, be safe, Mumsy says. So, walk street, doing that. The dogs are fine. Feed them breakfast and lunch every day. Take them out for a little walk every day. The cats are all fine. Can you claim expenses in Cambodia? They don't really have a lot of taxes here. I mean, businesses are taxed, and so yeah, I'm sure businesses have some kind of expenses that you can do, but personal income tax, I think it's just 10%. They just take 10%. That's it. Flat rate for everybody. Any news from Channy? Haven't heard anything. I did hear from Channy this past week. She said she was going to the border again, that like her visa was running out and that she was going to come back and all of this. And it was the same thing as last month. No, she was just doing a visa run with her boyfriend. Why did she bother? Why did she bother contacting me? And so I told her, no, not lying. I'm not dealing with your lying anymore, because that's all you're doing. So that's it. But I don't regret having her here and, giving her the opportunities that she had. It was a mutual benefit, and so I don't mind. But now, no. But I do need to find another Channy, but a better one. I'm still looking for that. So stupid. She should just stop. I know. I think I was talking with Claire, who's in France, who rescued a dog and rescued a cat, and so she was really worried about Channy and everything, and she goes, well, why is she lying? And I said, I think it's kind of like somebody who, I basically explained a kleptomaniac, right? Someone who just has to shoplift, who has to steal, who just has to take things, and it's a compulsion. They can't stop it. They don't need it. They don't need what they're taking. They don't want what they're taking, but they just have to take it, and that it's a mental illness when it gets to that point. And I mean, sometimes it's called being a sociopath, but I don't think she's that far. But I think it's just a compulsion. I told her, I told Claire, I said, I don't think she knows any other way to be. If she hadn't started working at the cafe when she was here, and she just came to live with me and had like an incubation time, where like a plant in a greenhouse had time to break the old habits. And, you know, I think she would have had a better chance of possibly changing that behavior. But because she started working at the cafe and being around people, that it just, the going back into the old habit of just for whatever reason, feeling compelled to lie, even when you don't have to, you know. Gibbo says, you did an amazing thing for her time to, yeah, did an amazing thing for her, time to move on. Don't beat yourself up. You can have Aurora. Okay. Chani will make a great politician someday. There you go. She has a career ahead of her in politics. There you go. Yeah. So I have an idea about peace, about ending this conflict. All right. Aurora says she's going to ship Frank over, but it would. Okay, I have an idea. So the amount of border that's disputed is 195 kilometers. All right. The entire border with between Thailand and Cambodia is like 800 something or 900, around 900 kilometers. But there's only 195 kilometers that are disputed. All right. That's so let's say around 200, right, kilometers, because that's easy to divide in half, right? 100. Now on that border, okay, and I was trying to explain this earlier, so I did look it up, so I know the difference between the maps now. I was trying to figure it out in my head, just like I was with the military time. So it's only about 100 yards difference between what Cambodia says the map is, you know, okay, the 1908 French protectorate map, that's at 1 to 200,000 scale. Okay, this in Cambodia says that map, and Thailand came up with another map that is based on 1 to 50,000, which is more detailed. And they said, okay, well, here's where the line should be. And the international courts and everything is like said, no, it needs to be the 108 map, a 1908 map. And Thailand's like, well, we're not going to listen to you. We want it to be this. This is what we want. Okay, so the difference between the two maps on the ground, how much land is that? 100 yards. A football field. All this conflict and fighting and people dying and people being displaced is over 100 yards. Temples being destroyed, gas, fighter jets, drones. It's 100 yards. So I'm like thinking, why not just say, okay, you know what? Let's end this. It's 200 kilometers, 195 kilometers. So half, around 100 kilometers, Thailand gets the border that they want. The other half, Cambodia gets the border that they want. Figure out, okay, this part is Thailand's 100 kilometers and this part is Cambodia's 100 kilometers, whatever. You get half of what you want, you get half of what you want. Win-win. Done. I don't know if it can it be that simple? Just do it. You know. Frugal says, don't forget to poke holes in the shipping so that Gibbo can breathe. Or don't. Gibbo says he has to buy the mods Christmas presents. Oh, that's so sweet. That's sweet. The French wreck everything. I know, traveling fools. You're so right. Yeah, everyone would be happy, right? Why not? Why not? Why not? You get your 100 yards for this 100 kilometers, Thailand, and then Cambodia, you get your 100 yards for these 100 kilometers. And call it done. I don't know if anybody, I don't know if it can really be that easy, but in my mind, it's that simple. Come on. It's not worth people dying, you know. Gibbo says Aurora wouldn't understand peace. She's Swedish, and they invaded the UK. They invaded England. Did Sweden? I know the Vikings did. Were the Vikings Swedish? Were they all? There's Norway, Finland, and Sweden, and Denmark. So that's my idea. Man, I think there's some kids outside with whistles that are just walking around. They got some kind of toy that's a whistle, and they're just blowing whistles outside. Oh my gosh. Irritating. Finally, they stopped. Yeah, Vikings. Yeah. It was all Viking back then. It wasn't divided into the other countries, right? Yeah, but this border conflict, it's very sad that it's happening. I hope it's over quickly. But what do they say? Ain't got no quit, right? That's kind of an American saying right now. Generally, like with sports and stuff, but it's also in the true crime community. They ain't got no quit. Cambodia ain't got no quit. So I think Thailand is underestimating Cambodia. I think they're just looking at the numbers like, well, we have more soldiers and we have F-16s and they don't, and all this kind of stuff. And they're just looking at the numbers like that. But Cambodians got grit. And when you're talking about being on the battlefield, that counts for a lot. Swedish fish. They're hard to saute. Swedish fish are the like little gummy bear type fish things. Yeah. I'll let you guys chit chat about that stuff. So does anybody have any questions about Cambodia that I can answer for you? I'd be happy to do that. If you have any questions. I love living here. I think Frugal loves living in Siem Reap. I love living down here closer to Phnom Penh. I don't want to be in the middle of Phnom Penh. I'm just over the river. It's still Phnom Penh, but I'm not in the city center. So I love it where I am. And nobody's running around scared or anything. The last time when there was the conflict with in Priya Vihir, I don't know, like maybe 2017 or something like that. There were a lot of nervous Cambodians. There were people that told me that it felt like the energy in the air and in the city felt like it did in 1997 when there was there was a battle in the city, and that was pretty much the end of all the fighting of the Civil War. After the Khmer Rouge, there was civil war. So Cambodians have a lot of battle experience, and even though there's a lot of young soldiers, they're being commanded by people that have experience. And the Thai military hasn't really had to fight before. They just know how to like play their war games. Oh, what's this about the American dollar? You said $100 target. Do you mean American dollar or Cambodian? I think I said, I'm sorry if I spoke too fast. 100. Oh, for selling on Walk Street. Yes. American dollars. I want to sell $100 worth of food. American dollars. We use American dollars in Cambodia. Oh, there's Frugal answering. Yeah. Thai is better at being a bully than a warrior. Yeah. You know, I don't know how much ammunition they have. Are they going to run out? Then what are they going to do? You know, and if America doesn't supply them with the fuel for the F-16s, they're not going to be in the air. You know, so how much fuel do they have? What about maintenance? You're flying those jets a lot. How frequent do you have to do maintenance on fighter jets? Because they're not going to have any parts. You know. Yeah. Come on, you guys. Give me some questions so I have a topic. I can give you my opinion. The weather's great. It's been cool. It's been so cool. Where do other countries stand on the Cambodian-Thailand dispute? Good question. I think most countries are getting their news about the situation from correspondents that are in Bangkok. So they're mostly getting the Thai side of things. So I think in Asia, I think people know that Cambodian wasn't instigating anything. I think because they know the Thai people and the Thai leaders, they know the Cambodian people and the Cambodian leaders, and they know more of the dynamics and everything and the history and all this because they're here in Asia, and especially members of ASEAN. But even with China and Japan and Korea, both North and South, they have a lot of diplomatic relations and a lot of investment here in Cambodia. Cambodia has been seen for the last few years, even before COVID happened, as a country that is has economic growth. Okay, it was projected at like 6 and 7% economic growth, and with some setbacks, it was maybe 3 or 4%, but it was still growth. Okay, so and they are projected with the new airport and everything. Everybody in Asia really sees Cambodia as a economic growth country, and so there's been a lot of investment. I think there will continue to be more and more investment. Countries all over the world are making diplomatic deals and business deals and signing MOUs, memorandums of understanding, and all of this here with Cambodia. They see Thailand being in a state of decline. They're cracking down on their visa law. They keep changing their visa laws, and they don't want foreigners anymore. They're being very racist towards any foreigners. They're xenophobic. Now, European countries, I don't know. America, I think, is a lot more invested now with Cambodia than they've got long-standing ties with Thailand, but they're shifting. In fact, the U.S. hated Hun Sen. All right, and they were here. They had a presence, but they were very standoffish, and then everybody wondered, well, once Hun Manet, he's still the son of Hun Sen, how's the U.S. going to react? And the U.S. has been very much interested in investment and building ties in the last few years. So let me go. I see a lot of comments here. So so Frugal says you can make a call to Canada, get some drones and ammunition. Okay, your Canada's good with that stuff. Chalet says if it's the Cambodians' land, they should fight for it. Well, and so historically, you got to understand from Cambodia, part of Vietnam, part of Laos, all of Thailand, part of Myanmar was all part of the Khmer Empire, and then Thailand or Siam broke off, right? They had some wars, and then they became their own country. They broke off of the Khmer Empire. So technically, it was like it wasn't Cambodia, but it was all Khmer, if that makes sense. And so yeah, the International Court of Justice said the 1908 map is it, not the other one. So in the international community recognizes the 1908, which is Cambodia's favor, which is why Thailand doesn't like it. Aurora says you guys joined NATO. Frugal, the news now is showing less bias from Thailand. They are saying not corroborated on some of the Thai statements. Cambodia pushed the French today on corrections on their statements. Yeah, well, okay. So France, you have to understand, has a lot of ties with the opposition leader named Sam Rainsy, okay, who was very against Hun Sen and is still very against Hun Manet, okay, who's the current prime minister, the son of Hun Sen. And because he was, yeah, he's exiled in France right now, okay? If he was in Cambodia, he would be in jail. So he's in France, and he has a lot of sentiment there, and they just hate Hun Sen and Hun Manet, the whole family. They want the government, they want the Cambodian government overthrown so that they can come and be in charge of Cambodia. So you have a lot of that sense. So it's like anything they do, anything Cambodia does now, in their mind, is not legitimate. Okay, because they're not the right government. Cambodia's government right now is not the right government. So anything they do is not right. So they're kind of, but in their hearts, I don't think they want to lose territory to Thailand either. I mean, like if they were in control, they wouldn't want to let Thailand have this land. They would want to go by the French map, you know. So it's very, very interesting dynamic with France. I had a comment on my earlier video, and I appreciate it very much. And I think it's probably somebody who is a supporter of Sam Rainsy. They're welcome. Anybody's welcome. I mean, I'll explain politics and stuff, but I'm not going to discount, side one way or the other. I'm going to stay neutral as far as that goes. So, yeah, so that's interesting. You said that. Traveling Fools. It would be cool to hear you discuss Maui Howie. Oh, hear me and Maui Howie discuss this, as he's in Thailand and I'm in Cambodia. I'm sure both sides are hearing totally different propaganda through local news sources. Absolutely. Absolutely, we are hearing totally different propaganda. Okay. All right. I agree with that. And then Maui, and I think it would be a wonderful discussion. Put us together. Okay, Gibbo and Aurora going back and forth. Dun, 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 dun. Give an inch, they'll take a mile. Says Chalet. Gibbo. And then frugal. Sounds somewhat like having Pol Pot again. They should stay in France, take over part of Paris. They are ripe for a takeover there. Yeah, there's a lot of protests and stuff that go on in France. You know, for sure. I think most Cambodians here feel that there has been progress. They don't feel oppressed. Some people do. Okay, some people do. But I think most people don't. I think most people look around and they go, is my life better since the last 5 years? Is my life better since the last 10 years? And they say, yes, my life is better. So they don't have as much sentiment in that direction, is what I see. But some people do. Some people do. And I have friends that do. And I respect those friends. I have friends on both sides. All right. So I do work for the military sometimes. I do English, English writing and teaching military students English. I do voiceover work for videos, military videos. Frugal says, life is still hard here, but they always find reasons to smile. It's a major reason you love it here. Exactly. And I find that too. I think that's one of the things I connected with when I came here the first time. I always say the first 3 days, I felt like a world traveler. I was like, woohoo, I'm here. I'm in Cambodia, back in a time when it wasn't a tourist spot at the time. You had to be a real traveler to come to Cambodia. And I did. And I felt very empowered by that. And then when I went to the countryside, and that was like, well, of course, I went through the countryside to get to Phnom Penh. I went overland from Thailand and Trat and on the Thai side to Koh Kong on the Cambodian side, and then overland to Phnom Penh. So, I mean, yeah, but from a vehicle, I wasn't really living in the countryside. And so when I lived in the countryside for I think it was 10 days, that's when I fell in love with Cambodia. When I saw the real Cambodia. Dun, dun, dun. Fermented fish. We have fermented fish here. It's called prahok. And Frugal has tried it and likes it, I believe. Me, no. No. Not for me. I am not interested in prahok. In fact, for a long time, they called it cheese. They thought prahok is the Cambodian word, and the English word for prahok is cheese. And I remember trying to teach students, no, cheese comes from dairy, from milk, from cows, or, goats, whatever, but from milk that comes from animals, mammals. See, if there's Frugal. I love it. Prahok is delicious. Traveling Fools, hard pass on rotten fish. Exactly. And so then I thought about it. It's like, I had a student argue with me because he had been taught that cheese isn't what we think of as cheese. Cheese is prahok. And I had to burst his bubble because he was fighting me about it. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I have to tell you the truth. This is the truth. So anyway, I thought about why would somebody choose the word cheese? Well, if you think about all those like Lindbergh and blue cheese, and there's a lot of really stinky cheeses, right? I don't eat stinky cheeses. I don't get that stuff near my nose. But if I did, maybe that stinkiness would remind me of prahok. Not to mention, cheese is literally fermented milk. So there's a fermentation process that would also be similar. So it's like, okay, I could see where they could make that leap, the logic leap, but I wouldn't. Nah. Frugal says, I had fresh prahak a few weeks ago without anything extra and loved it. They even had raw prawns, so delicious. Limburger, that's I said Lindberger. Limburger is harsher than prahak. There you go. From someone who knows. Yeah. Prahak. You amaze me with all the things that you eat. You're much more adventurous than me on what you eat. I have to say that. Me, I mean, yeah, I like rice and pork. I like the eggplant with pork. I like things with beef, things with chicken, things with pork. And Cambodian foods cooked a lot of different ways with those main proteins. So that's all good. But yeah, I'm not eating bugs. I'm not eating frogs. Don't really care for duck too much. I'll eat it if I'm at a wedding, because it's always part of that. It's always part of the menu on a wedding. Aurora loves pork. But half the time I'm eating sandwiches that I make myself. Can make myself pancakes. I love biscuits and gravy, but I'm not good at making biscuits. Frugal says he'll eat anything. Food is fun. The stranger it is, the more you're interested in it. Life is an adventure. Yes. Well, if you've got the stomach for it, go for it. For me, creamy pesto pasta with chicken. That's the staple. That's about once a week. I have creamy pesto with pasta. I think it's under $5. I'll have a hamburger about once every 3 months, sometimes 4 or 5 months. I'll get potato skins at Hard Rock Cafe because that's like $10, and that's like way out of my budget. But I'll just like give in and splurge, somewhere in the 3 to 5 month range, and get myself potato skins. It's come with real sour cream. Oh, so good. Oh my goodness, so good. Frugal says, my Khmer friends are always shocked by how much you'll try. Well, I bet that's fun. That's fun when you do that. Yeah. All righty. $10. Mind blown. Yeah, that's probably like, so you guys are thinking it's so cheap, right? Well, it's only $10. It's like, yeah, well, I try to keep my meals at under $5. There's plenty of choice in fact, if you're eating Khmer food, you're talking $1 to $2 to $3 at most. If you're like not at a fancy restaurant, you can get Khmer food at a fancy restaurant. It's going to cost you more. It's like a month's shopping for Aurora. You guys are too much fun. All right. Well, we're coming up on 10 o'clock. I think that's long enough. I've had so much fun being here with everybody today. I hope everyone has a good day. Frugal and I will have a good evening, and the rest of you have a good day. Andy, if you're still listening, you're probably, I don't think you're to Reading yet. I think it's more than an hour to get to Reading. So I hope you're safe on the roads. And Chalet, I hope all your multitasking goes well. Hugs to everyone, Mumsy says. Hearts from Chalet. Just don't forget that love transcends time and space. So wherever and whenever you're watching this, I love you. And thank you. Thank you for being here and spending time with me. I really appreciate it. You have to get the babe. All right, go get the babe. Later, kids, traveling fools. Hey, I'm hoping that my schedule will change to the afternoons. They'll be teaching in the afternoons for the next term, I hope, in which case I'll be able to catch your show in the morning. I'm looking forward to that. I really miss being part of Traveling Fools trivia show. Okay, guys. Tomorrow we'll do some kind of games. I don't know what. I'll find something good. So until then, catch you later.